Session. Today's class we are going to discuss about page concepts, and I will discuss about page page concept. This page concept, it's same like, so when we are working with, so for example we are writing notes in some some notebook. What one page is completed, then what we are going to do, we are going to use another page. We will jump into the another page. The same way, if the another page is completed, then just a minute. Okay. If another page is completed, so you are going for the another page. You will write the data in the another page, right? The same way here, so we have so main pages and sub pages concept. Main pages and
Dinesh, sorry to interrupt. Have we started recording the session?
yes.
Okay, cool.
So we have a main pages as well as sub page concept. This main page, I will call it as a parent page. Parent page also, parent page, and at the same time we have one, every process will have one main page. Every process will have one main page, and it will have n number of sub pages. N number of sub pages. There is no limit. You can create n number of sub pages in a single process, but must and should it should have one main page. For example, in a textbook, so when you are reading the data, must and should the textbook should have some main page like a index. Assume that index is a main page, index page. So there you can able to understand so what all the topics so we are going to cover in the different pages, right? Same way, in a main page you are going to create references. We need to understand so how many processes, how many different pages we are going to call in your main page. If you want to run any sub page, every page will have a process. In main page you will have a process, in page 1 you will have a process, in page 2 you will have a process, in page 3 you will have a process. But if you want to run any specific page, must and should, it will run by default, it will run in a main page, and it is going to end in a main page. But if you want to run in a sub pages, then must and should we need to create a reference to the pages. Then only we can able to implement that. Otherwise, it is not possible. So what it means by that, how to implement a pages, we will see that. So when we are implementing, and main page you can call all your sub pages as a reference. All our sub pages as references. At the same time, but when it is coming to the sub pages, in sub pages or child pages, we can call here also, we can call any of our sub pages, but we can't able to call main page as a reference. In child pages, you can't able to call your main page as a reference. Okay, you can't able to call, you will not have option. Main page as reference, it is not possible. And one more thing, so sometimes in interviews they will ask differently, so can we able to call page within the same page within the same page? It means, for example, you are in a page 3, we are in page 3. Again we need to call a page 3. It means page within the same page, so it will go to a continuous loop, so but it will not be useful, but we can able to call, so we don't have any use for this, just for the interview purpose. So they will ask, we will see that how to work with the pages and how to work with the sub pages, then you will get one clear picture on this, what it means by that, the page concepts. If you observe here, we will create a process page. Next, double click. Now observe, if you observe here, what you can able to see here, main page, you have one main page here. Main page, every process will have one main page. If the one this page is completed, or you are going to use another page, otherwise if one page we are going to split your process, so assume that it's a very big process, we need to split the process into different sets, different functionalities into different pages, then we can able to do that. Okay, so once you split the process into different functionalities, after that, how you are going to integrate it? By using references, page references. Here, main page. How to create a subpages? We have two options to create subpages. One option is, just observe this, right click, create a new. This is one option, new. Observe page 1, created. Page 1 is created now. Another option is, you can use shape, page shape here. When you drag and drop here, observe this, what it says. Last option, add a new page without creating a reference to this. It will create a page 2. Page 2. Now we created a page 2 here. Observe, page 1 is created, page 2 is created. So one option is right click and then new. Another option is just drag and drop the page and then select the option. Okay. Now page 1 in main page, we are in a main page. Give the link. Now we are in page 1. We are going to do some calculations or some things we are going to implement here. For example, inside the calculation 90, we need that in a result. Click OK. Now we have a result here. Now we are in page 1. Observe, we are in page 1 here. Now this page 1 we need to run. If you run the process, every time it will start the process in a main page, it will end the process in a main page. Observe, we are running this. Start. Where it has started, it started in a main page, it ended in a main page. But our requirement is, we need to work with this, we need to start the page 1 but not the main page. So must and should, we need to create a reference in a main page if you want to start a page 1. Otherwise page 1 will not run. Observe, we are in a page 2. Page 2 now. Page 2 is highlighted. Run. Again it will start in a main, it will end in a main page. So we will make it as a slow. Okay. Now page 2, reset, run. See this? It started here, it ended here. Now we need to run page 1 here in a main page. Come to the main page. Observe, create a page. Create a reference to an existing page. Because page 1 is already available, we need to create a reference to existing page. Page 1 is already, it's an existing page. Now click next. Observe this. Which page you need to create a reference? You need to create page 1 as a reference. Click on that. Finish. Okay. Give the link. Reset. Now if you are in any page, if you start, it will come to the main page, here start, and then it will trigger page 1, and next it will go to the end. When it is triggering page 1, it will go to the page 1 here, it will start here, it will come to the calculation, after that it will end here, again it will go back to main page. Just observe, we are trying to run, start, it going to page 1, and then it is implementing calculation here. After that it came to the end, again it came back to main page. Now after this page 1, we need to trigger page 2 also. Then come to the main, again create a reference page, create a reference page 2, finish, give the link, then reset, pointer, page 2. Now page 1, page 2, all we are calling in a main page. Remember, you can call n number of subpages and n number of times in your main page. N number of subpages, n number of times. What it mean by that? We can call page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Like that, anything. And then you call page 1 here. After that you will call a page 2. After that you will implement some calculation. Again you need to call a page 1 again. Then you can able to do that. Again you can able to call page 1 again after the page 2. Yes, it's possible. See this? Again if you do this, create a reference. Again we have an option, page 1. If you click on a page 1, it will create a reference. There is no limit for using, so calling the pages in your main page. Now come to here, page 1, page 2. We used a page 2 here. Now if you run this, it will go to page 1 first. It will finish the page 1. After that, again it will come back to main page. And then it will trigger page 2 now. It will go back to page 2. Then again it will come back to main page. Okay. So this is how we are calling subpages in a main page. Now, we need to call subpage within the subpages. We need to call the pages in a subpages. Here page 1, you can able to call page 2. Page 2, you can able to call page 1, but not your main page. Now observe this, we are in a page 2 now. We are going to call subpage, page 1, create. Now give the link to this, reset, pointer. Now observe, start, page 1 and end. When it is triggering page 2, within the page 2 we have again page 1, reset, run, page 1. After the page 1 it will go to page 2, done. After that it has to go to main page, page 2. Page 2 what you have? Again we have a page 1. It will go to again to the page 1. See this? And then calculate. And then result. Again it will come back to where it has been called, page 2. Yes. So like this, you can able to call in a page 1, page 2, page 1, and then page 1 within the, so page 1 we can able to call. So like this, we don't have limit to call any subpages in a subpages, but you can't able to call your main page in your subpages. If you observe here, page reference, create a reference, can you able to see any main page here? No, we don't have any main page here in this thing. So because you can't able to call main page as a reference in your subpages. And another thing, we will go to page.
And so there is no option of running the subpages alone also, right?
Come again. No option of.
Running the subpages alone also, right? You said that while clicking on run button, it always starts from main page, correct?
Yeah, that is.
So
Mm-hmm.
instead of that, if I would like to run only the subpage,
Mm.
is there any other option?
Yeah, we have. I'm coming to that.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Now, so here we are in a page 3. We are in page 3 now. We need to call page 3 within the page. Page 3 again I need to call in a page 3. Page within the same page. Create a reference. That is possible. Page 3. Finish. Now, if you observe here, we are in page 3. Again we are calling the page 3 again. We are calling again page 3 here. If you observe this, page 3, what it says, call page 3. It will go to page 3 again. It will go to the page 3 and then it will start again and again. If you want to run this page 3, again you need to create a reference in a main page and then you have to do that. But just for the testing purpose, I want to run only the page 3. I don't want to run each and every page individually. So each and every page if you want to run, so it will take some, so assume that, so it will take some 15 minutes or 20 minutes to run all the pages. After that it will come to the page 3. So I don't want to do that. Just I want to test only this page 3. I want to start it from here. I want to end it from here. Individually I want to run this particular page. Yes, it's possible. So we have an option called set next stage. Set next stage and run to this stage. We will call this as a debugging options. We'll call this as a debugging options also. Set next stage and run to this stage. Remember, set next stage is nothing but a start. When you click on set next stage, it is giving the instructions to the process. You need to start from this particular stage. You need to start your process from this particular stage. When you use run to this stage, it will give the instructions to the process. You need to end at this particular stage. Set next stage is nothing but a start. Run to this stage is nothing but a end. Start and end. Now we'll observe this. Here we need to start from here. Right click. Observe the option. Set next stage. Set. Now what happened? Started. Right, it's showing that it is starting here. It has been highlighted. If you run, it will not run from a main page. It will going to start from here. It will start from here and then it is going to end it here. Observe this. Run. Where it has been started here. And then here the page 3. Again you are calling a page 3. It will be a continuous loop. It will be never ending because we are going to, so we are calling page within the same page. Right? Now set next stage is fine. Now we'll stop it. Then going to reset. Okay. For example, come to the page 2 or page 1, whatever it may be. Here, I want to run this process up to here and I don't want to move forward. I don't want to go forward. So what it will do is, if you click on run to this stage, automatically it will start the process from main page and it will come up to the page 1 and then it will not go further. For example, page 1. We need to come up to this end. That's it. After that, we don't want to run. Observe this. Run to this stage. Click on this. What happened? It started. Page 1. Page 1. calculation, end. That's it. It has taken this as a end stage for the particular process. Is it clear? So run to this. Just to for the testing purpose we will use this option, set next stage and run to this stage. So like this we can able to perform. So when you are clicking run to this stage, so no need to start. Automatically it will start. It will come to that particular stage and then it is going to stop. Again, if you want to restart here, just click on. It will go to the next. It will be like that. Okay, so we can able to do like this. So run to this stage, remember, it's nothing but a end. Set next stage, remember, it is nothing but a start. Set next stage is a start. Run to this stage is nothing but a end. Okay. So now, just a minute. We'll discuss another topic here. And if you observe here, double click on data item. Can you able to see this value? Observe this. Hide from other pages in a process and reset to initial value when the page runs. Reset to initial value when this page runs. So if you click on this, always if you are already it's checked, right, it will every time when you are clicking on reset to initial value when the page runs. When the page is running, it will reset to the initial values for the data item. Whatever the value we have given for that, it will go to the initial values. So if you hide from the pages in a process, it will not show you this data item in another process. Observe this, we have a result here in a page 2. We need to implement calculation, for example. Can you able to see any data item here? No, right? So we are in a page 2. In a page 1 we created a data item. This data item I need to use in another pages also. Then uncheck this one. Hide from other pages in a process. Click OK. Come to the page 2. Reset. Double click. Observe this. You can able to use the data item in one page where you have created. So that particular data item you can able to use throughout the process. If you click on this, if you uncheck that particular option, hide from the data, this one, hide from the pages in the process. So if you check that, then you can able to use only for this particular process only for this particular page only, not for the process, sorry, only for the particular page. If you uncheck, you can able to use this data item for all your pages. You can able to and reset to initial value whenever this page runs. What it means by the initial value? For example, if you give any value to this, every time when you are running, it is going to reset to the initial value. If you pass some other value to this, for example, just a minute, reset. What is the values for this when you are running this process? Right, I will remove this. Come to here. I will click on here. Set next stage and run. Try. And 113. 113 is your value, right? And then observe this. What is the option? Reset to initial value when the page runs. Set again. So when you are calling the page again next time, it will take the same initial value. Initial value is 0, right? It is not taking the current value. For example, so if you uncheck this one, when you are using this in some other processes, run this, sorry, and this one, stop it, reset, come to the page 1, set next stage, run. It will have some value for this value Observe this value 113. So if you are going to take this value for some other process, it will run. So we are going to click on the reset to initial value when this page is running. For example, you are calling this page again, then so this value will not take, it will take so 113 for the further process. That's the meaning of this. So if you want to carry forward this value to some other process, we have to use this one. We have to uncheck this. So by default, these two things will be checked every time. If you want to use this value for some other process, you have to uncheck this reset initial value whenever the page is running. Okay, otherwise you'll be able to use that. So that's the meaning of this. Okay, now we have very important thing, initial parameters and end parameters, or start parameters or end parameters. We'll call that as a input parameters and output parameters also. Initializing parameters we will discuss later. So before this, we will discuss another topic called circular path. Circular path. Circular path, this is just a approach. This is a approach. This is not a stage or this is not a shape. This is a approach. What it means by that? So for example, so maybe in any programming language, so we will go through that. So iterations. So we will see iterations, right? Same thing we will implement here without going for a loop. I don't want to go for a loop, but it has to go for a iterations. Generally, what we are going to do, if you want to do same thing, same calculation again and again, if it has to be go for iterations, then we are going for a loop. But here, without using a loop, we can go for iterations. For example, minimum value, I will take it as a 0, and maximum value, we will take it as a 9. And here, when we are implementing calculation, we need to implement a calculation like minimum value plus 1 every time. And we need to assign this in a calculation stage, minimum value plus 1. We need to assign this again to minimum value. Now, every time when it is running, minimum value 0 plus 1 will be the first time. Second run, 1 is the minimum value now. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 is the minimum value now. Next run, 2 plus 1, 3. 3 is the minimum value now. Next run, 3 plus 1. Like that, it has to implement. So up to minimum value less than maximum value. Up to here, it has to run. Minimum value less than maximum value. It has to repeat 9 times up to this value. Minimum value, if it is reaching maximum value, then it will stop the process. We have to run up to here. How to do that? We can use calculation for this. After that, for this condition, we can use this a condition decision. We can use a decision for this. Now, if it is minimum value less than maximum value, again it has to go to this calculation, right? How to achieve this one? Decision always will have two links, right? We can go for this. We'll see how to implement this. It will be more clear. Circular path. Next, finish. Double click. Okay. Now we will take two data items. One is for minimum and one is for maximum. Double click. Minimum value, data type number, initial value 0. again maximum value, data type, number, maximum value 9 or 6, whatever it may be, 6. Click OK. We have minimum value and then maximum value. Now we need to implement a calculation. Go to the calculation, double click. So our requirement is minimum value plus 1, increment by 1. It has to increment by 1 each and every run, and it has to store it again in a minimum value. And next we need to implement a decision where it has to stop. Double click, minimum value less than maximum value, it has to stop. Now give the link. Now observe this says, but if the condition is true, then it has to go for again this calculation, then it has to go again here. We can use anchors, to connect the shapes. Observe this, we can do like this, but if you observe this is yes, but it should be yes. This flow has to be yes, because the condition, if it is condition is so true, then it has to go for again the calculation. If the condition is false, then only it has to come out, right? Then right click, just use a switch option, reset. Now we implemented switch option here. Now if you run this, observe what it is happening. It's running multiple times, right? Observe the minimum value here. Observe the minimum value. And this is, observe this. So previously minimum value less than 6 we have taken. Yes. So 5 less than 6. Yes. It will again go to the calculation. The minimum value will be 6. 6 less than 6. Is it correct? No. Then it will come to the end. Like this, we can able to implement circular path. This is approach or concept. Now, when you will use this kind of situation, when you will go for this kind of any like iterative calculations, for example, just assume that we are using a credit card. When you swipe your amount, sometimes if you are swiping more than your credit limit, it will not allow your transaction. When you are swiping less than your credit limit, it will allow your transaction. Otherwise it will decline, right? So how come this is happening? Backend the some process will run, right? For example, assume that maximum value is your credit limit here, and when you are swiping, that one will be increment by, and previous unbilled amount will be already it's available. So maybe it's a minimum amount here. Every time when you are swiping, it has to calculate with your unbilled amount plus swiped amount. It should be less than or equal to your credit limit. Right? Every time when you are swiping, it has to check. Now, here minimum value and maximum value we given as a hard coded values. We given it as a hard coded values, right? So we are not giving these values through some other process. We are giving these values as a hard-coded values, but we need to receive these values through the process. Then through process, when the process is running, I need to pass some values to this. I don't want to give some hard-coded values. When you swipe your credit card, it will backend, some process will run, it will calculate that process output. You are going to take input for the another process for the conditional statement. Then we have to use input and output parameters. We have to go for input and output parameters. This is very important concept. Input parameters and output parameters. We will use input and output parameters to pass the values to the process and to take the values from the process. Input parameters, always we will use it in a start. Always we will use it in a start shape. Output parameters, we will use it in a end shape. Remember, input parameters we have to use it in a start, and output parameters we have to use it in a end shape. Now, what it mean by parameter here? What is parameter and what is variable? Parameter means during the runtime, the value will not change. Value will be consistent. That is parameter. During the runtime, the value will change. That is variable. For example, so if you reached some particular age, after that your height will not change, right? So during your lifetime your height will not change once you reach to specific height, right? That is parameter. It's a constant. And during your lifetime your weight will change, right? Our weight will change during the lifetime. Same way here, parameter, during the runtime the value will not change. That is parameter. In runtime the value may change. That is variable. We will use input parameters and output parameters here. Input parameters, before starting the process we are assigning values. We are assigning values to process. That is input parameters. We are going to assign the values to the process before starting. That is input parameters. And output parameters, we are going to take the values. We are going to take values from process. That is output parameters. After completion of the process only we are going to get the output. That output value you need to pass it to some other process as a input. That's why we are going to take the output parameters after completion of the process. We take the values from process after completion of the process. Output parameter. Input parameter, we are going to assign the values to the process before starting. Before starting the process we are going to assign the values. If you observe here in a process, just observe this. Okay. We have a start, we have a end, right? Reset. Double click on start. What you can able to see here, input, click OK. Double click on end. What you can able to see it here, output, right? Input and output. So before running the process it will check, do I have any parameters here? Yes. What is the values we have for the parameter? Those values it is going to take. And after completion of the process, in the end it will check the outputs of the process. For example, after completion of the process, minimum value, that is a output. So it will be some 9 or 6 or something, right? Whatever the value it is going to take, so that will be the minimum value here. So this value I need to take it as a output for this. After completion of the process, whatever the value we are taking out from the process, that is output parameter. Remember, input parameters we need to give it in a start page. Output parameters we have to perform it in a end stage. Okay. Now how to use input and output parameters, we will see it in next class. How to create a parameters, how to assign the value to the parameter, where you need to create a parameter, where you need to assign a value to the parameter. Also that it's very important topic. So before, so going to some other automations every time, so we are going to pass the values through input and output parameters for any application most of the time. So we have to understand very clearly this passing the input parameters and taking the output parameters. We will see that in the next class. So today, what are the things we discussed? We discussed about page concept. So here, come to just a minute, page, main page. Every process will have one main page and you will have n number of subpages. There is no limit for this. You can call all your subpages n number of times in your main page. Every time the process will start in a main page, it is going to end it in a main page. If you want to run any other process in between the main page, you need to create a reference to that particular page. Then it is going to run. And coming to the subpages, you can call any of your subpage in any of the subpages, but not your main page. You can't able to call main page in your subpages. You can call all your subpages in a subpage, and page within the page. You can able to call page within the same page, but it will go for a loop. It will go for a loop. And in a page, if you want to use one data item value into the some other data, so some other pages, one data item value, if you want to use that in some other pages, you need to so uncheck, so hide from the pages. We need to uncheck the data item from hide from the pages. And so when you are working with so main page, we need to create a references here. Okay. And if you want to run any specific page particularly, I need to run only specific page individually for the testing purpose. Then we have an option called set next stage. Set next stage. Then it will give the instructions to the process. We need to start the process from that particular stage. And we have an option called run to this stage. That is nothing but a end. It will give the instructions to the process. We have to end the process at this particular stage. This is set next stage and run to this stage. Now coming to the circular path. Circular path. So we can implement iterations without using a loop. That is nothing but circular path here. To achieve this, we need to implement calculation and we need to implement a decision here. Here, so when we are working with this, we are giving some hard-coded values for minimum value and maximum value. When it is running during the runtime, I don't want to give minimum value as a 0, maximum value as a 6. I want to change these values during the runtime. When it is running, minimum value I need to give as a 5 and maximum value I need to give it as a 10. Then we have an option called input parameters. Before running the process, before running this process, we can able to start. When it is starting here, then so it will tell you what is the value for this particular minimum value we can assign, and what is the value for the maximum value we can assign. And remember one more thing, parameter values. Parameter values will override initial values. What it means by that? Parameterized values will be override initial values. For example, here in this example, we have a 0 and then 6 as a initial values. These are the initial values we created. Now, I don't want to use this 0 and 6 as a values. I can give in parameterized values for minimum as a 5 and maximum as a 10. Then what is going to be happen to these initial values? It will be overwritten. It will be overwritten by parameterized values. Always parameterized values will have highest priority. Parameters will have highest priority. It will overwrite your initial values. Just remember this. We will see that. So how to work with this. So how to create a input parameters, how to call input parameters, how to assign a value to the input parameters. We will see it in so next class. So any doubts in this topics?
No, as of now, we don't have any doubts.
Okay, so thank you. Okay, so just practice the things. So we have a tool learn. It's installed. Just practice the things, whatever the things we have discussed till now. So if you have any doubts, we'll go ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
So next class onwards, we are going to jump into the real things. How exactly we are going to implement in your real time environment. So how we are going to automate your application. Those things. So we will see that. Okay. So till now, whatever the things we have discussed is just basic. So how to work with the shapes, how to work with the different things, and how to work with the pages, how to work with different shapes like calculation, when to use multi calculation, when to use connection, when to use these things. All these things will be helpful when we are working with automating any specific application. We will see that from the next class. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.